A lot of people just dread the terrible twos, but what if I told you the worst was still to come? There's a study that has revealed 14-year-old daughters are the most difficult children to handle. 15-year-old boys are not far behind. Why do kids around this age cause so much grief? How can parents better handle these teenagers? Joining me this morning, author and educator Dannielle. Good morning, Dannielle.
Good morning.
Okay, 14-year-old girls, what are they like?
Look, they can be difficult. It is a stage where the brain is still very much a work in progress, so they're impulsive and emotional driven. They are also expected to make very adult decisions, and they still may only have childlike strategies to fall back on. So, of course, it is a tumultuous period. It's a period of moving towards the parents, yet also wanting to stretch those boundaries and rebel. I think it is important to realise, though, that they are still a work in progress. They do still need our guidance and support and some boundaries set. And I also believe that at the moment in society, we're really setting this up to be a difficult stage. It's almost this self-fulfilling prophecy that girls will be troubled and difficult, when in fact they're just often demonstrating natural responses to the stresses that are placed on them.
But it's the boundaries parents try to put on girls like that, and they're rebelling against said boundaries. So how do you make sure those boundaries stay in place when that's one of the big issues? They're crossing those boundaries.
Yeah, look, I think it's important to pick your battles wisely. So perhaps the messy bedroom might need to be ignored if the alternative is setting some boundaries around schoolwork being done and around, you know, curfews and things like that. It's important too for mums to be good role models for their daughters. Girls hate hypocrisy. So if you're telling your daughter that binge drinking is a big no-no while you're swilling Chardonnay, she's probably not going to take that advice seriously. Also, getting to know their world is really important. Find out what they're being subjected to, being informed about the real issues. Don't bury your head in the sand, because it is a period where there'll be lots going on. Focusing on some of those positives is important, and as you said, Kerri-Anne, setting boundaries.
Focusing on the positives, we were just talking to John Stewart about the new language for childcare workers. So you can't send a kid to the naughty corner, you can't say no anymore. In 10 years' time, what are these kids going to be like?
Yeah, and when I say focusing on the positives, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't set boundaries and say no. What it means is that we
but
also...
you're not allowed to say no.
Yeah,
so if a 4-year-old today never hears the word no, or you can't say don't bite, you say biting hurts our friends. So at 14, what are they going to be like?
Well, that might be the childcare rules, but that's not necessarily the parenting rules. And as parents, we can very much set discipline in place in our homes that we're comfortable and happy with and that's reasonable. When I say focus on the positives, I'm talking more about recognising all the great things that your daughter's doing as well, rather than just obsessing on the things that she's getting wrong, because it can be a difficult time. I mean, would you want to go back there? Particularly today, when the girls have enormous pressure around body image, perfection. They're expected to have this Paris Hilton worldliness while making decisions about the future. It is a challenging time. I work with girls in schools all across Australia and New Zealand, and they do feel bombarded with messages, often mixed messages, and they do feel very much stressed and anxious. We know that for many young people too, this will be the onset of things like depression, eating disorders, huge body angst issues. So I think empathy is really critical.
Yeah, I think you have to understand the pressures compared to years past. It's always been tough, but I think years gone past didn't have the same pressures as it does today. But Dannielle, thank you very much for that insight.
Thank you.
There you go. Something you didn't know. 14-year-old girls are difficult and boys at 15.